Welcome back. And again, thank you for doing this with us. I was hoping that you would just talk about your story and talk about how we know each other.
Originally met Aaron. I was a personal trainer at Equinox, and I didn't even think that I was going to ever be able to go back to police academy, because I thought that the doctors always told me that I wasn't ever going to be able to do push-ups again. Even if I got the surgery, I might not heal my wrist all the way, but through working with him, even just a few sessions on my wrist, I was already able to do push-ups without any pain. And I also had some knee tracking issues when I was getting back into the running, which is something that I stopped doing because I didn't like, but then once I realized I could do the push-ups again, I knew that I would have to start running again to get in the full shape for academy, because you have to do a lot of push-ups, you have to do a lot of running, you have to do a lot of pull-ups.
Yeah, people don't know that. So yeah, talk about the physicality of academy and so why that, because that was your basically lock and key, right? That was my understanding. So, and you're obviously a very physical person, meaning that you're in shape and everything else, but you were intimidated by this physical event. And so so what you were saying, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was competing in powerlifting for the past 2 years, and I didn't have any issues with that. I had no pain doing any of the squat, bench, deadlift, but as soon as I started doing push-ups, I had pain. Running, I didn't have pain, it just felt a little bit uncomfortable and unnatural, and so I had to get some work done on my knee to make sure that it was tracking properly when I was running, because in academy you have to do a lot of running, and I'm actually starting next week. So I'm at a point now where I know that I could get through all the way without having to have any issues there. And then same thing with the wrist for the push-ups.
So how are you feeling currently?
I feel pretty good. I think just today working on the areas that we've been working on in the past, just to make sure everything's feeling as good as it possibly can.
Yeah. Where are you feeling like we need to work on today?
Probably the lower leg.
Okay. Yeah, for the rotation type stuff.
Yeah. And then maybe a little bit on the knee too.
Perfect. So, basically what we're doing is just a tune-up, right? That's fair to say. So that's what we'll kind of go into is tuning these places up just to make sure, and this is something we do with any, I do this with a lot of professional athletes and, or, anybody, something to do with execs that are going away for a while or so. Without any further ado, let's get started. What we're going to do with you, and we've done cupping with you in the past. What's your experience at cupping?
I like cupping.
You like cupping? Yeah. What do you like about cupping?
I don't know, it just feels like it's doing something while,
yeah.
It just feels like it's working a lot while it's being done. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling too. And cupping, we're going to do it kind of an untraditional way. What we're doing is lifting and creating a motor unit, or in this case, your muscles, are going to glide as they're lifted. And it gets your brain involved, but it also flosses the muscle, and it does a really great release. So with you, what we're going to do is we're going to put these things on, and then we're going to have you basically just do squats like we were talking about previously. But we're going to go up the quad, and your rectus femoris, which is the one right in the middle here.
That's a lot of cups.
Good. And the last thing we're going to do.
I can tell this isn't going to be fun.
So the first thing we're going to do is just take you through passive motion. Can you explain the difference between passive and active kind of ranges of motion? What does that mean for the people that don't know?
Passive would be like sitting down, doing a forward fold and holding it, not moving at all. And then this would be active.
And so what I want you to do is stand up for us, Rachel. What we're doing is we're flossing the muscles, underneath, and so as she actively moves, so she contracts her own muscles, and this basically, it gets your brain involved, is what it does, and I do this a lot with professional athletes because, you know, it says, hey, muscle, go to work. But what you're trying to do is reduce your friction that it causes to do this motion. So endurance athletes, and so totally okay if they pop off. This is huge. But with injury too, it's really helpful because it's just kind of a, even though it looks intense, it's, you know, relative mellow way to really bring, you know, blood to the area. That's why it leaves a little kind of erythema reaction or bruise. Yeah, it's intense. It feels very pulley. And these marks will stay on. How long, you know, not the other marks I give you from just kind of, you know, doing deep muscle work, but the cupping marks. How long do you have cupping marks typically when we do stuff like this, Rachel?
I mean, last time you put these on, they went away right away.
That's what I was expecting, kind of, I was thinking you would say.
And I bruise easily too.
And you can see, like, it's a trip. You can see how much this thing pulls up. It looks really painful, but, you know.
Then it's already, like, going away.
Yeah, totally. It's not too bad. So people are scared of this, but, you know, it's kind of one of those things you gotta try. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna adjust your foot next. What I like to use, especially for that navicular, because it's to the first metatarsal, is, you know, something called, it's just an impact gun. It's just a little micro adjuster that can be very particular and articulate and never gets tired. So this one's, you know, the navicular is dropped down a little bit because she's losing some functional arch. So we're just, you know, I think of it down here and it wants to go home with its friends up here. So you just go straight, straight up. And that's it. And it's going to be a little tender because there's some tendonitis there, and, you know, and the feet are sensitive in general. Good. Because you can see on the model even how interdependently these move with one another, and you really need that, you know, in anatomy because it all starts in the foot. These aren't really fun ones that it's understandable. There's more in the navicular. Good. And then we want to make sure the talar dome, which is right here, and I think like talus on a bird of prey, is allowing to pivot up. And so basically this is articulation of vertebra and amphibia roll down like this. And, here's a good example. So what we're looking at is this joint here. And if that's stuck, or if that's not doing this good glide, that you won't be able to, again, kind of hinge this thing. And so what we're going to do is just do a long axis distraction, gap that. And if it's in the wrong place, it'll go right back to where it needs to be. And if it's in the right place, it just goes back home. So a little pop there. Good. And there's a little one here. Good. Good job. Good. Beautiful. Nice. Good, checking that articulation between the navicular and metatarsal. Good. Hind foot versus posterior foot. Good. So here. And one more at the end. Good. Distraction. One on the back. Good. Beautiful. Nice. Good job. Lovely. Good. Good job. Cool. So 7 bones in the wrist, you know, I call it carpal bones. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at those 7 bones and I'm making sure they're all independent, they're articulating, you know, similar to the foot. And if they're not, you know, I'll do this kind of whippy, but what I have to do is distract so I can open that space up to move. Good. Good. Kind of just stripping it from the other side. Beautiful. So a good way to stretch this, Rachel, is kind of go underneath, and then we'll go like this. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is pull kind of into that stretch, you know, again, make sure everything is at length. And then we're just going to use, this is just a grasping tool, or in this case a factor, and just start to, you know, this is grasp and feather the fascia is what we're doing. We're trying to slide those top, you know, sticky layer off the mechanical parts underneath, or the movement parts underneath it. You can feel kind of the different textures in tissue. When I go here, it's not, you know, it's a little, it feels a little kind of crinkly, but and here it feels pretty smooth. And again here, and you can kind of feel like it's not gliding. So that's where we kind of spend a little more attention and keep feathering. Yeah, then I'll come back and do a little muscle work and check in with it. Make sure I got that seam going. You can feel that like adhesion in there. That little click there, Rachel.
Yeah.
Good. See what's going on? I can't. You know what I do is I go drive and try to find the exact same thing and just keep going until you feel it. You don't feel it click anymore. Perfect. Good. Same thing. Wrist with a little distraction. You know, so what I have Rachel do is kind of pull back just a little bit, so she's creating a little bit of that sheer tension. Not bad though, because you can feel things moving. You know, that's almost before I get into it. Good. It's a different thing. I don't need to unlock this like we did the other one. No. Good, what do we got here? Deep breath. Good job, nice. Good. Again. This is gonna be a big one because you got it big on the right. Oh. Good job. Good job.
That one took me by surprise.
Good job. Good. Good job. Nice. You. Great job. Awesome. One more. Yes, we already got it. Good. Give that one back to you. There's it's kind of visual. You do the rest part. Good. One more. Good job. Good.
That one pops more than it usually does.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, totally.